It's been on my mind. I look at the clock and watch my time pass by. I know it's all gone. I said, where did the time all go? Dripping in quicksand, like where did the life all go? I need a lift, man, I can't stay down on the floor. Switching through seasons, like where did the time all go?
What's up, guys? This your boy, Mr. I-240. I'm back with another episode today. Hey, well, thank y'all for getting that last episode of Love, the Blood Thicker Than Water junk. We're on our way to the 500 subscribers. We at 495. So I want to really thank y'all for the love that the page be getting. And also, most importantly, before I go any further, I gotta thank the man above, y'all, Jesus Christ, whatever y'all want to call it, for blessing me to see another day. Because if it wasn't for him, wouldn't be no me, wouldn't be no y'all. So back I was saying, hey, I just want to thank y'all so much, you know what I'm saying, that the page been getting. I be trying to put out as much content as I can, especially with episodes like this one, you know what I'm saying, like I told y'all in the Junkyard Dog, Bray Wyatt. There's always a message towards the end and stuff like that I be trying to get out. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to put out much content, you know what I'm saying, especially with everything going on in the world. Especially with the wireless service going down with Verizon, Cricket. Hell, my cell phone company might be next. So I'm trying to get out as much content as I can before allegedly the world change. You know what I'm saying? Because the world is changing. We all got to get right. We all got to live right. Even myself. I ain't no better. I ain't perfect. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, this episode today, Viva La Raza. And it's about my main man, Eddie Guerrero. Ooh, excuse me. Eddie Guerrero was one of the greatest superstars in professional wrestling history. But November 13, 2005, due to heart disease, we lost him at a young age of 38 years old. So, he was a man that he overcame all his demons. You know what I'm saying? He overcame all his demons and stuff like that. And he went from becoming his demons, like I said, to world champion. He did it against all odds. Not only did he become a runner in the wrestling business, but he became a runner in life. So we just gonna go and do what we do best, give career backgrounds and stuff like that, and we're gonna get to the nitty gritty. You know how we get on here. So we're gonna start with a brief history of New Japan, 1992 to 1996. In 1992, Eddie Guerrero began wrestling for New Japan Wrestling, where he was known as Black Tiger. He became more successful, you know, then when he returned back to study, he became more successful when he won the 1996, the Best of the Super Junior Weights tournament, or the Junior Heavyweights. He received a shot at the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title versus the Great Sanuki, if I pronounced it right, at skydiving, but he lost the match. But during that time, he faced a young X-Pac, Lightning Kid, 1, 2, 3, whatever his name at the time. He fought John Shane Liger, and of course his main rival, Dean Malenko. And he fought his best friend, Chris Benoit. Then of course, we got a brief history where he joined ECW for 1 year. He joined for ECW 1 year and went back to New Japan. So, 1995, Guerrero won the ECW World Television Championship from Too Cold Scorpio in his debut match on ECW. Then April 8th, he lost it He won it, he won his ECW, he won the title against Too Cold Scorpio in his debut match on April 8th, 1995 at Three-Way Dance. He went on to have a series of acclaimed matches with Dean Malenko before they both signed to WCW later that year. Then he lost the ECW television title to Dean Malenko on July 21st that year. But Guerrero regained the title on July 28th. Then he lost it back to Too Cold Scorpio on August 25th. Then the next match he had a draw. Why the fans were saying, why the crowd was saying, please don't go. Because because the fans didn't want him to go. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want him to sell out to Eric Bischoff, and they didn't want him to leave. Then, of course, his main highlight rivals was Dean Malenko and 2 Cold Scorpio. Then, of course, from WCW to 2000. So we'll start to 1995 and 1997. Because, you know, he was in ECW. He was in WCW like in the late 80s and stuff like that, but he wasn't getting that buzz, that shine. So he returned to WCW late 1995, along with Dean Malenko and Chris Benoit, who he had worked with in New Japan and ECW. His first pay-per-view, he had his first matches against dark matches versus Alex Wright. Then he had his first television pay-per-view appearance at World War III, where he competed in a 3-ring, 60-man battle royal. The winner to get a WCW Heavyweight Championship match. Well, it was for the title actually, because they had vacant the title. You know what I'm saying? So it was 95. So until he was tossed out by the 4 Horsemen. You know what I'm saying? So at Starrcade, he had competed at the World Cup of Wrestling in December 1995, where he represented WCW versus New Japan in the World Cup tournament, which saw him losing to, I don't know this dude's name, so I don't want to pronounce it wrong. But WCW did end up winning the series 4-3. In 1996, he had received a U.S. Championship match versus Conan at Uncensored. Then he had a rivalry with Ric Flair at Hog Wild. He feuded with Flair and the Horsemen in a short, brief rivalry in 1996. What started the Ric Flair rivalry was after Arn Anderson had turned on him during a tag team match versus Ric Flair and Randy Savage. In late 1996, he feuded with Diamond Dallas Page before he got the big buzz a few months later versus Macho Man Randy Savage in the NWO. And they had, It was because the nickname Lord of the Ring, but Eddie Guerrero had lost. He was in the vacant WCW United States Championship tournament versus DDP, where they met in the final round, and he won at Starrcade. Then, of course, 1997, Guerrero defended the U.S. Championship versus Scott Norton at the Clash of Champions. Scott Norton. Then he had a U.S. title match versus Six, which is X-Pac, in a ladder match. It sold out. And he had a match with Chris Jericho at Super Brawl, I think 5. His reign came to an end to his familiar op, Dean Malenko, at Uncensored. Them dudes had classic battles, and it seemed like Dean Malenko always got the best of Guerrero at the time. Just this phone, let me see. Yeah, there you go. Alright. So, he feuded with Chris Jericho after a while, focusing on the Cruiserweight Championship. Hold on. That was on Chris Jericho. I got it right. Like I said, my bad. So, like I said, he started feuding with Chris Jericho, focusing on the Cruiserweight Championship. He had challenged Jericho for the title at Clash of Champions, but lost. He demanded a rematch for the title. In the opening match of Fall Brawl, he defeated Jericho to win the WCW Cruiserweight Championship, but he lost to his familiar rival, like a brother. His brother, like a brother to him, Rey Mysterio, at Halloween Havoc in the classic title versus mask match. If y'all watch the Treasure Show on A&E, Rey had Dominic's name on the back. Then, of course, November, he had received a rematch. Hold up. On November 10th, he regained the Cruiserweight Championship from Mysterio and made a successful title defense versus Mysterio at World War III in 1997. Then, after retaining the title versus Dean Malenko at Starrcade, he later lost the title to the Ultimo Dragon the following night, December 29th. Alright. Then, we got the Latino World Order and the Filthy Animals era. This is when he started getting frustrated with the business and started going crazy with Eric Bischoff. Because, you know, he had Hogan them still in the shine. Kevin Nash them and stuff like that. You know, then he had the Goldberg buzz. And he was still in the mix. But Guerrero wanted another challenge for himself to get that main event push. So, on March 9th, 1998, on Nitro, his nephew Chavo Guerrero had lost to Booker T. After the match, Eddie Guerrero had suplexed Chavo on purpose, teaching him a lesson. On March, I forgot what day this is. He defeated Chavo in a match and forced him to be his slave, yet uncensored. Chavo was forced to support Guerrero when he took on Booker T for the WCW TV title, but he lost to Booker T after a missile dropkick. Then after a while, the familiar rivalry, it was uncle versus nephew. Chavo had lost to Ultimo Dragon at Spring Stampede. Eddie Guerrero defeated Ultimo Dragon despite the interference from Chavo at a Great American Bash. Chavo got a victory over his uncle Eddie Guerrero after that. They had faced off in the her versus her match at Bash at the Beach, which Eddie won. Then, shortly after that, the LWO was formed in October, when Guerrero had returned with Hector Garza and Damien, and they feuded with Rey Mysterio and Billy Kidman because they wanted Rey Mysterio to join the LWO, which he's in now, of course. He faced Billy Kidman in the match, but Rey had helped out his good friend Billy Kidman win the match and keep his cruiserweight title. Then, of course, in May 31st, 98, 99, he became a member of the Filthy Animals with Mysterio and Conan, where they defeated with, I forget the name of the damn group, Deadpool, which was Vampiro or whatever, and Roll Wild and Fall Brawl. Then they feuded with Revolution. Eddie Guerrero was victorious over Perry Saturn at Halloween Havoc. At Mayhem, the Filthy Animal lost to Revolution in a mixed tag match. A mixed tag match, elimination match. Then shortly after that, he left WCW in January 19, 2000 and signed with WWE. But WWF then, not WWE. Alright. Now, we got the WWE with WWE era 2000-2001. Him, Chris Benoit, Perry Saturn, and Dean Malenko debuted on Monday Night Raw when they took out the New Age Outlaws, if y'all remember that. They were sitting in the crowd, Road Dogg, they was talking that trash, and Benoit handled their business and debuted. Even Mick Foley had gave him some praise and glory. In the match with Guerrero, who previously became a heel, he began months down the road, because he was injured and stuff after that. He began shooting his shot at China, which he referred to as Mama Sita. At the time, she was allies with Chris Jericho. They became cool friends, especially over the Intercontinental title. Because she was rejecting Eddie Guerrero's advances. But on April 3rd, 2000, Guerrero faced Chris Jericho for the European Championship when China became heel and turned on Chris Jericho, and Eddie Guerrero become the European champion. She just couldn't resist my boy Swagger and his style. Then, of course, him and China began to feud with S.A. Rios and newcomer Lita, which had came from ECW. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And the rivalry at one point started becoming for his European. It was a European title defense at Backlash. Then, of course, Eddie Guerrero had turned face and successfully retained his title versus Perry Saturn and Dean Malenko in a triple threat match before losing the U.S. title to Saturn at Fully Loaded. They became a popular couple. Then after a while, tension started happening between the two. And the reason they started feuding was because China was defeated by Eddie Guerrero in the opening round match to advance to the King of the Ring tournament. And she was upset. Then at SummerSlam, the couple had wrestled Trish Stratus and Val Venus, who was Intercontinental Champion. Even I think he had pinned Trish Stratus by mistake or whatever to become champion. And China, okay. Here we go. The stipulation was whoever scored a pinfall become champion. And China had scored the pin on Trish Stratus and became two-time Intercontinental Champion. And of course, on September 4th, 2000, Eddie Guerrero inserted himself in a triple threat match. For the Intercontinental Championship, so it was Eddie Guerrero, China versus Kurt Angle for the Intercontinental title. He accidentally ended up pinning China to become Intercontinental Champion. It became unfortunate as he began to cheat to retain. Well, he started cheating to retain his title reign. Eddie Guerrero became upset when China started doing Playboy. Y'all remember the segment she was doing Playboy? He was trying to interrupt and stuff like that. It was entertaining stuff. He even tried, like I said, he even tried to invade. He tried to evade of the Playboy photo shoot. And at Unforgiven, even though they were having hard times, she helped him retain his title versus Rikishi. Then the shortly after that, he was in the shower, at the time with Victoria, which was one of Godfather hoes, you know what I'm saying? She caught him at the shower with two girls. Then, of course, they had shortly broke up after that. Then, shortly after that, he became a heel and reunited with the Radicals. So, at the Survivor Series, it was DX, R-Truth, Road Dogg, China, Billy Gunn versus the Radicals, Benoit, Saturn, Malenko, and Guerrero. Then, of course, DX lost. The Radicals had got the win. Then shortly after that, the Radicals had started feuding with the Hardy Boys at Armageddon. This when Dean Malenko was trying to shoot his shot at Lita, and he was even stalking her at the time, looking at her phone. And you gotta remember the Hardy Boys had set up Dean Malenko at the hotel. Then, of course, early 2001, he feuded with Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit, who both came from the classic ladder match in 2001 at the Royal Rumble. Then you had added X-Pac. And they was all feuding over Chris Jericho championship leading to No Way Out, which Jericho had won. Then, of course, he started feuding with European champion Test, who defeated him at WrestleMania 17, thanks to Malenko and Saturn, who he defeated. Yeah, Eddie Guerrero defeated Test at WrestleMania 17, thanks to Dean Malenko and Saturn. Then in April, they started feuding with Test and his partners. But he left the Radicals again and joined the Hardy Boys and Lita. Then at this time, during his deal, he had developed addiction to painkillers stemming from his 1999 car accident. Because you remember he had left LWO, ended bad, he had a car accident and he came back. Shit, that's the thing about drugs, man. When you come from them car accidents, surgeries and stuff like that, and they start getting hooked on them drugs, it's terrible. Especially if you got, problems going on in your life and stuff like that. You need something to turn to. You feel like you can't turn to Jesus. You can't do nothing like that. So you just start getting hooked on drugs, you know what I'm saying? And my boy Demons was getting the best of them. You know what I'm saying? Because, if you look at the painkiller, I just drugs. It ain't nothing, man. It's just da-da-da-da-da. But now you taking them drugs, whether it's Percocet, crack, whatever. When you got that man in the red in your ear, and he know what you struggling with, it's a bad combination. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what somebody be going through, especially from a car accident, lost a loved one, a breakup. You don't know. You don't know. But two people know. Jesus or the devil. especially living in that fast lifestyle he was living in. You know what I'm saying? At the time, man, you gonna turn into the devil, cause shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, I understand with this price of fame thing. You know what I'm saying? The devil did test Jesus. Said, "I give you anything you want." You gotta think about it. He's a successful wrestler. You know what I'm saying? He getting anything you want, access, whatever. You got the good part, the glitz and the glamour and the fans. You got that party lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? All the wrestlers did it. Hell, I even saw a picture of goddamn Hulk doing that crack rock. Well, that Snow White from back in the day. So, back to the story. So, back in that time, in May 2001, they sent Eddie Guerrero to rehab. Then, November 9th, he was arrested for drunk driving and was later released by the company 3 days later. You know what I'm saying, man? That devil, man, when you dealing with them vices and stuff like that, man, they get the best of you. You know what I mean? So, you got to think about it like that. But we'll get back to that too. And of course, he had the independent circle, which wasn't much. He had fought Super Crazy at Ring of Honor. He fought Psychosis for the International Championship. I forgot what company it was. And of course, we all remember the classic triple threat match between CM Punk and Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero. And he had a match with Low Ki. Then, of course, in 2002 to 2005, he had returned to WWE. So, he returned to WWE on April 1st, attacking Rob Van Dam, which they had a classic rivalry over the Intercontinental Championship. And he defeated him for the Intercontinental Championship at Backlash. After defeating Van Dam at Insurrection Judgment Day, but Van Dam regained his championship in a ladder match on Raw. Then shortly after that, he returned. I think he aligned with Chris Benoit and joined, the Ric Flair feud, where he feuded with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Where he was supposed to have a big program with Stone Cold Steve Austin, but this one Stone Cold had left the company because they wanted him to put Brock Lesnar over on Raw. And I feel like Stone Cold get a bad rap for that. I don't think he didn't want to put Brock Lesnar over. I think he just seen money and value in it, so he didn't just want to give the match away for free. Because here is the promising young star taking out the past Attitude Era. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to do it big and something special for Brock. You know what I'm saying? Like The Rock did at SummerSlam. Then, of course, Benoit. What that Benoit? Yeah, Benoit. Guerrero and Benoit feuded with Ric Flair, and Eddie Guerrero had lost to Ric Flair at King of the Ring. August 1st, 2002, he was moved to SmackDown, where he feuded with Edge, and they had a match at SummerSlam where he lost. Then he defeated Edge at Unforgiven. Then they had a no DQ match. That's when they did the flipping powerbomb, and I think Edge had landed on his neck. You know what I'm saying? So, you gotta think about that. And they had a no DQ match 4 days after Unforgiven, where Edge got the W, and it ended the rivalry. Then, of course, the Los Guerreros era, which lasted for a year and a half, when uncle and nephew reunited and got it back in blood. So Chavo agreed to team up with his uncle. And they came up with a slogan called "He lie, they lie, cheat, they steal," where they became a tag team with crazy vignettes, where they were which led to throwing pool parties, playing golf. You remember all the vignettes. I'm gonna put them in the video. They had entered the 8-man tag tournament in WWE for the WWE Tag Team Championships, where they defeated Rikishi and Mark Henry in the opening round. And so they was in the finals. They started feuding with newly tag team Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. Chavo told Chris Benoit that Guerrero was assaulted by Kurt Angle. It was friction between Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. So Benoit made the save to only lock himself in the room with Latino Heat when Eddie Guerrero assaulted Chris Benoit with a steel chair. Benoit and Angle overcame the odds and their differences when they defeated Los Guerreros in the semifinals. Because Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit had faced Rey Mysterio and Edge in the finals, and Benoit and Angle got the dub. At Survivor Series, Los Guerreros faced the new champions. I think Mysterio got it back. But they had faced the champions Rey Mysterio and Edge versus Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. Then the Los Guerreros became champions when Guerrero made Rey Mysterio tap out to the lasso from El Paso to win his first ever WWE Tag Team Championship. Then they turned face. Then when they turned face, they lost the tag titles to Team Angle, which was Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin on February 6, 2003. Then Los Guerreros and Team Angle started feuding. Los Guerreros was the contenders at WrestleMania 19 for the WWE Tag Team Championship alongside versus Chris Benoit and his newly partner, Rhino. Team Angle had got the dub. Then Team Angle defeated the Los Guerreros in a rematch. So Chavo had got hurt, and Eddie was forced to look for another partner, which was the Japanese buzzsaw Tajiri, and they won the WWE Tag Team Championships from Team Angle in a ladder match. Then Guerrero and Tajiri retained the titles the following week by cheating. Then they defeated Roddy Piper and Sean O'Hara. But on June 26, Guerrero and Tajiri lost the WWE Tag titles to the World Greatest Tag Team, which was Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas. Then on July 3rd, but he had started slamming Tajiri through the windshield of his lowrider and became heel again. Then in July, he competed in the United States Championship. He competed in the United States Championship Tournament vacant title, where he defeated Ultimo Dragon and Billy Gunn to advance to the finals, where he defeated Chris Benoit in the finals at Vengeance Days, thanks to Rhino, who betrayed Chris Benoit and hit him with the gourd. Then at SummerSlam, he retained the title by defeating Chris Benoit, Rhino, and Tajiri. Then he became a face again, and this time he fought a young up-and-comer, John Cena. And they had a Latino parking lot match, which Eddie won thanks to his returning nephew, Chavo. Then they had won the tag team titles from the World Greatest Tag Team again. He started feuding with the Big Show, which led him, Big Show. It was a dude delivering to food for Eddie Guerrero, but Big Show had took it, but he didn't know what was in it because Eddie Guerrero had set him up with the little white stuff, and Big Show started doodling with a lace burrito. Then he sprayed Big Show with sewer water, which was doo-doo. They feuded, which led. Then when Latino Heat had lost the United States Championship to the Big Show at No Mercy. 4 days later, they lost the tag team titles, him and Chavo, to the Passion Brothers. That's when the tension started becoming between uncle and nephew. Because they started feuding with the Passion Brothers, but they lost again at Survivor Series. Then, like I said, tension started and animosity became between the two. Then early 2004, Chavo attacked Eddie Guerrero, betrayed Eddie Guerrero after they lost to the Basham Brothers again. This is when his daddy was involved and stuff like that. Then they settled their difference at the Royal Rumble where Eddie got the win, but he left his nephew a bloody mess. Then WWE 2004, the big mega year when he got his shine. Ooh, true. When Chris Benoit won the Royal Rumble, he had chose Triple H for the World Heavyweight title shit, which later became a triple threat match versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. While Benoit was doing it, that Friday, Guerrero had won a 15-man Royal Rumble match where he became the #1 contender for WWE Championship against the dominant and prime Brock Lesnar. For first championship for No Way Out. Brock Lesnar, Mark Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero had a passionate promo right behind it, how he became all his demons. He lost his friends, his wife, and stuff like that. That was one of the greatest promos I ever seen in life. Cause you could tell he was spitting his heart out. And I think somebody said Brock Lesnar damn near cracked. I had to look at the segment again. Brock Lesnar damn near cracked because he felt the passion from his heart. I think Brock Lesnar to this day said he still miss Eddie Guerrero. Then they had the match at No Way Out. Eddie Guerrero won the match. The fans going crazy. You got to remember, Brock Lesnar had cost Goldberg the Battle Royal. The Royal Rumble. When Goldberg was dominant, Brock Lesnar came in the ring, hit him with the F5. Then Goldberg got eliminated. So they were starting to set up their feud too. Because you got to remember, Stone Cold gave Goldberg gave Austin the ticket. Goldberg came there, Paul Heyman and them threw him out. It was a crazy moment. The referee was knocked out. Goldberg got back in the ring. Spear. Brock Lesnar kicked out. Eddie Guerrero got the belt. Frog splash. 1, 2, 3. I don't know what it is about that moment, y'all, but every time I see that moment, it feel like my emotions overcome or something. I be damn about to cry every time I see it, bro. Cause that was like an inspirational moment or something. I don't know what it is. Like me and that moment connected together or something. I don't know. Then after the Brock Lesnar, he started feuding with Kurt Angle over the WWE title, which he defeated Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 20. When Kurt Angle had him in the ankle lock, but Eddie Guerrero lost his shoe and he put Kurt Angle in a roll up. And he retained the title. And then later on that night, Chris Benoit became World Heavyweight Champion when he made Triple H tap out in front of the world. Who would have thought two extreme mid-card guys become the top guys in professional wrestling? Then you got the infamous moment, Chris Benoit holding the belt, holding the championship. Eddie Guerrero right there with the WWE title, right there, crying for his homeboy. Then they embrace, they hug, wave their hands up at the fans. It was one of the greatest moments you'll ever see in life. And whoever would have thought that man passed away that next year in 2005, and that man passed away in 2007. It's crazy, right? Then shortly after that, he started feuding with Bradshaw, who became JBL after WWE gave Ron Simmons the peace out. JBL had interrupted Guerrero title match with Booker T. Then their rivalry had got personal when JBL caused Eddie Guerrero's mama to have a heart attack in the ring. Then at Judgment Day, Guerrero defended his title versus JBL, which he retained and get himself disqualified by hitting JBL with the title. And I think it was the steel chair, my bad. Hit him with the steel chair. No, it was the title. Then Guerrero had bled out the JBL chair shot. Then at a Great American Bash, Guerrero defended his WWE title he defended his title versus JBL in a Texas Bullrope match. JBL had became WWE champion after Kurt Angle had screwed Eddie Guerrero because he was still mad that he got screwed out of the WWE title, and he wanted it back in blood. So Eddie Guerrero had won the match. Kurt Angle, who's the GM, who allegedly had got, remember, a Big Show had chokeslammed Kurt Angle off the roof. Of course, we know. Guerrero about to win the match. Kurt Angle said, hell no, reverse. Then, of course, on July 15th, Eddie Guerrero got his rematch versus JBL in a steel cage match. I got the little Mexican he was trying to play appeared. He had cost Guerrero with the match. But remember when Eddie Guerrero had caught the little dude on the cage, he grabbed the shirt, he grabbed the mask. It ended up being Kurt Angle. And it was up. Then they had a classic match at SummerSlam, but he lost to Kurt Angle, submitting to the ankle lock. Then shortly after that, he aligned himself with a returning Big Show, as he was getting outnumbered by Angle crew, Luther Reigns and Mark Jindrak. If y'all remember, Mark Jindrak will be a member of Evolution, because they target Eddie Guerrero every week. Then he had a one-on-one match with Luther Reigns and No Mercy. Then of course, it's a Survivor Series. It was Team Guerrero versus Kurt Angle. Guerrero team won, and he started moving on. Then, of course, the final year. That December 2004, Guerrero, along with Booker T and Undertaker, who all had been cheated by JBL, won it back in blood. So Theodore alone made it official at Armageddon. It was JBL versus Booker T versus Eddie Guerrero versus Undertaker in a fatal 4-way. This was the one where the infamous moment where Ryback cost the Undertaker because he was still coming on Michael Cole back. So they had the match. JBL ended up winning. Then, of course, Booker T and Eddie Guerrero had briefly teamed up versus the Basham Brothers at the Royal Rumble for the WWE Tag Team Championship. WWE Tag Team titles, but they lost. So the infamous night at the same time, Guerrero had entered the Royal Rumble at number 1. He lasted 28 minutes before being eliminated by Edge. But before the Rumble started, they had drew numbers. He drew numbers with Ric Flair at the same time, where he stole Ric Flair's number and he stole his wallet. Because Guerrero wanted a better number and stuff like that. But he was forced to give Ric Flair both. And then shortly after that, he teamed up with his homeboy, Rey Mysterio, where they defeated the Basham Brothers for the WWE Tag Team Championship. Tag Team titles, I'm sorry. And people was expecting him to defend it, but Chavo convinced his uncle to challenge Rey Mysterio to see who the better man in a one-on-one match to steal the show. But Mysterio had won the match, but Guerrero seemed kind of upset when he lost the match. The tension started growing between them two, and finally got erupted when they had the tag team title match versus Eminem. When they lost to Eminem, and then they got the rematch, and Eddie Guerrero abandoned Mysterio, a man that he considered like a friend, his familia, like a brother. I think he was probably jealous of Ray at that time. I don't know. This one, he was going through all this stuff with the heart thing, and we didn't even know it. Hell, he didn't even know it. Cause y'all remember, I think he had a heart attack on TV versus the Dudley Boys. Then, of course, on May 5th, Eddie Guerrero saved Rey Mysterio from Chavo and Eminem giving him that beat down. Man, Rey over there hugging him, man, Eddie Guerrero. Then Eddie Guerrero gave him that clothesline around the world. And you gotta remember the infamous steel steps. We hit him with the steel steps. And the infamous, he gave him the brain buster on the steps with Rey mask coming off. And then I think he took Rey mask up and started carrying around. Then they had the rematch at Judgment Day, where Guerrero lost again by hitting Rey Mysterio with a steel chair. Then June 30th, he said he had a terrible family secret, a dark secret about Rey's family, involving both men's families and kid. So Rey begged Eddie not to do it, and he begged him to give him one more match at the Great American Bash. If Rey beat Eddie, Eddie was not going to tell the secret. Rey won the match, but Eddie revealed the secret anyway. So the storyline was Dirty Dom was Eddie Guerrero's son. Now that you look at Dirty Dom now with his mullet, you look at Eddie, like, damn, he kind of do look like that nigga. So, and then of course they had one of the final matches where they had the custody of Dom match and a ladder match at SummerSlam, which involved Eddie Guerrero's wife Vicky, who cost him the match. So there was 3 victories this summer, but Eddie got the last laugh on September 9th in a rivalry in a steel cage match. Then shortly after that, Eddie Guerrero became number 1 contender he became number 1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, which was Batista at the time. Which Eddie all of a sudden developed a character change of heart. But he wasn't fooling everybody, especially the animal. So Batista kept a close eye on him. Even stole his burrito, ate his sandwich and all that. Batista was playing mind games with Eddie. But of course, Batista defeated Guerrero at No Mercy. Then November 11th, he had fought his final match versus Mr. Kennedy. He won to advance to the Survivor Series. But 3 weeks before Survivor Series, he had passed away with heart problems in his hotel room, which I think Chavo discovered him first. He said Eddie couldn't. Yeah, Chavo had discovered him first. Chris Benoit was waiting on the downstairs. Chavo told him, "Hey man, Eddie gone." Then Chris Benoit came upstairs, crying, holding the mane, couldn't believe it. I'm gonna be real with you. I think Chris Benoit was never the same after their death. Cause if you remember at the Raw tribute show, man, when they had the emotional tribute, Benoit couldn't barely get his words out. Then they had the classic match with him and Triple H on the tribute show. It's hard to overcome when you lose your best friend in your arms, man. You know, he holding the man, crying, one love. That was his homeboy. Just forever. Like Benoit sister said on Dark Side of the Ring, you'll never see another wrestler bromance like them. And I'm pretty sure it was hard for Benoit to move on after that. Then, of course, I didn't know this, though. So, Eddie Guerrero was supposed to win the heavyweight title in a triple threat match on SmackDown, where it gave Batista time off to recover, but Batista had denied it. So, that was a sad situation, you know what I mean? But my man accomplished a lot, not just in the ring, but he accomplished a lot in life. Because he was starting to get his life around and start getting in the word, you know what I'm saying? Especially, you know, when him and Shawn Michaels was bonding. And there's another thing. Him and Shawn Michaels was supposed to face each other at WrestleMania. They would have stole the show, like I said. But my man accomplished a lot in the business, where he is one-time ECW Tag Team Champion, two-time WCW Cruiserweight Champion, one-time WCW US Champion, one-time WWE Champion, two-time European Champion, two-time WWE US Champion, two-time WWE Intercontinental Champion, four-time WWE Tag Champion. And he had great matches and great feuds versus Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, Rey Mysterio, John Cena, Kurt Angle, Chavo Guerrero, Batista. My man accomplished a lot in this video. I gotta read, my phone was ringing because I gotta repeat everything. My man discovered a lot. He became ECW TV title, two-time WCW Cruiserweight Champion, one-time US Champion, one-time WWE Champion, two-time WWE European Champion, two-time WWE US Champion, two-time WWE Intercontinental Champion, and four-time Tag Team Champion. I had to repeat that again because somebody was trying to call me. So, yeah. And the matches and feuds he had was Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, which they had match of the year in 1995, Rey Mysterio, Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Kurt Angle, Chavo Guerrero, Batista, JBL, Flash Funk, Finn Finley, Chris Jericho, Jushin Liger, DDP, his own brother Hector Guerrero, Ultimo Dragon. So my man lived a luxurious life, you know what I'm saying, that was cut short, and he was starting to get himself back together. You know what I'm saying? I think Kurt Angle and them, they were like, man, we should have been looking out for Eddie more. We should have been, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? But didn't nobody know. You know, you can't beat yourself up about that, you know what I mean? Because they didn't know. But I understand as a friend, they should have been looking. I can see what they saying. Because hell, Ray still think about it to this day. You see a Dean Malenko. Hell, Dean Malenko missed their man. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just proud the man overcame his demons, man. But that's a lot to deal with. Drugs, you dealing with painkillers, alcohol. You know what I'm saying? It caused fiction in your family. You losing everything. And then he went to the Word. He went to God, man. And got it, you know what I'm saying? Got right. And I can respect it, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I'm trying to do the same path because I got the same issue anyway. I got calamity, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? That's inspirational because, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, who don't want to get right with Jesus, man? You know what I'm saying? Who don't want to live right? Who don't want to do better? Who don't want to do all these things? It's always a chance, man, because if that man can do it, you can do it too. Look, we all make mistakes. We ain't perfect. But as I learned over the last few years, man, that as this world ended, man, we all need him. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm talking about his accolades and what this man did, but that's that. I'm talking about this, but now we talking about the person, because all the kind words they said, he was wise, he was always helpful, he was always there. He took care of Vicky and them beautiful girls. That would inspire me to do episodes like this. I mean, yeah, you know, we talk about career and you know, stuff like that, but I respect that man, because he didn't give up. You know what I'm saying? He didn't let the demons get the best of him, shoot his brains out or whatever, or keep on doing them. He wanted to get better. You know what I'm saying? And then he was at his highest peak. You know what I'm saying? In his prime, he was in his bag, and just to be cut short, you know, it's devastating. You know what I'm saying? But it just show you, like I said in the Bray Wyatt episode. You know what I'm saying? We change our jersey number each year for our birthdays. But you never know when the Lord want to call you home. You know what I'm saying? So you just want to make sure you do the right thing and live according to his word. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to be real with you. One of my first fears is knowing that I died in sin, bro. You know what I'm saying? Whether if I was drinking, lusting, at the club drinking, then I get shot, and that's the way I go out, in sin. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that to be my last moments, you know what I'm saying? I want that to be my last moments that I'm trying to get right with the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been playing the devil game for years, you know what I'm saying? But you'll probably say, well, you're a good guy, though, man. Just because you're a good person don't mean the devil ain't going to test you. Because if you ain't got that Holy Spirit, you ain't got none of that, they going to test you. So he ain't going to test no, you know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't going to test, like somebody said, he ain't going to test nobody that's in sin. He going to test somebody that's trying to get right and live right. He gonna test them. He ain't gonna test nobody. That's too easy. I already got him. That's nothing. But folks that he knows strong, big dog and all that, he always gonna try to attack them. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that's spreading the word, spreading the gospel, anybody that's doing it, he gonna try to test them. And that's in real life or celebrity world. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to say, man, hey, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I enjoyed this episode. And I will be dropping this soon. And the Chris Benoit coming soon. I love y'all. I'm out. Peace.
It's been on my mind. I look at the clock and watch my time pass by. I know it's all gone. I said, where did the time all go? Dripping in quicksand, like where did the life all go? I need a lift, man. I can't stay down on the floor. Switching through seasons, like where